With the speed, complexity, and uncertainty in the world today, change and leading successful change is more important than it's ever been before. And it's helpful not to think of change as a linear process, not to think of it as the 8 steps of change, but rather to think of it as the elements that are going to create the foundation for success. The accelerators that are going to accelerate change, that are going to ensure that we get the benefits that we want out of that change effort, and we're going to get them fast. Because in today's world, we need to get more success, more wins, and we need to do it faster than ever before. And the 8 accelerators are centered on the big opportunity, right? This is the articulation for why change is necessary, why it's going to be beneficial for us to lead this change. It's about why now? Why do we want to lead this change in this moment? How is leading this change in today's moment going to help us be successful in not just now, but into the future as well? And then the first 4 accelerators, that's really about activating your whole organization, getting everyone in the organization to lean into and want to help drive this change forward. In today's world, it's not enough for 4 leaders at the top of the organization, or even 20 or even 50 people in the organization to be leading change. You need everyone in your organization to be helping you lead that change. And so that starts with creating a sense of urgency. That starts with creating a level of commitment in the organization that says, I want to help with this change. Not just I think this is a good idea and somebody else should do it, but I want to help make this change a reality. The second accelerator is about a guiding coalition. And a guiding coalition is a broad group of people with diverse opinions, diverse perspectives, and diverse positions in the organization as well, right? So it's made up of people on the edges of the organization as well as those in positional leadership. And that guiding coalition helps ensure that the change is led and steered and guided all along the way. The third accelerator is really about having the clarity of vision, right? This is about what is it going to feel like and what is it going to look like when we're successful? How do we ensure that people across the organizations can see themselves in that success and can understand what it's going to feel and look like when we are successful? And that brings us to the fourth accelerator, which is really about creating a volunteer army. This is about getting everyone in the organization leaning in. This is about not just creating the desire for people to want to participate, but also creating the forums, right? What are the forums for how people can engage with the change? How do you create mechanisms for people to actually be able to participate and help lead this change forward? And then the next 2 accelerators are really important for implementation. The first one is for leaders to lean in and remove the barriers that enable that volunteer army to actually take action, right? What are the barriers that are in the way? What are the management systems that get in the way? What are the norms that might get in the way of us actually leading this change successfully? Removing those barriers so that you can enable more people to participate and take action. And there's so much research that shows motivation really comes from progress. The more progress we see, the more success we have along the way, the more momentum we build, and the more motivation we have to continue that change effort. So don't think of change efforts as something that has to be implemented over a 2-year time frame or even a 6-month time frame to see results, but rather something that you can create impact with along the way. You can create impact with, you can create wins, you can create excitement, you can create results along the way. And then the last 2 accelerators are about ensuring that you get the maximum benefit from the change, right? So the first one is about sustaining that acceleration that you've driven in the organization, and also being able to scale it. Because often in today's world, the changes are in one part of the organization, and then you can scale them across the rest of the organization and get even more benefit from that change effort. And then finally, making sure you're instituting that change so that things don't slide back to the way they were, but that this actually becomes the new way of doing things, right? This becomes the way we now do things. It's a successful change, and it's in the fabric of the organization. And so thinking of these 8 accelerators, again, not as a linear process that you're following through, because different parts of the organization could be in different parts of the change journey, but rather thinking of these accelerators as the elements that are going to help you be successful in the change that you're leading.